What's up guys, and welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we're going to be bringing you another one of our Back to Basics series, all based on food. Today will be part one of the series based on the nutritional requirements of goldfish, and next week or next episode we're going to be talking about different foods available on the market and different foods that you can make in your home. So stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics fam, welcome back. Remember to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can keep up to date with our future uploads. Also, if you haven't already, check out the link in the description for the Facebook group. We've just finished one of our virtual shows and we're going to be having plenty more competitions to run throughout the year with all of our recommended retailers, so check out that link if you haven't already. So once again, this week we're going to be doing another Back to Basics series, all based around food. Goldfish can be really flexible with their diets and they can sustain long periods of time with low to minimal amounts of food. However, as you know, we're always looking for that diet to give our goldfish optimal health and optimal growth. There's some excellent prepared foods on the market available. I like to use sinking foods as this helps stop your goldfish from gulping in air, which can lead to floaty issues and swim bladder complications. I find that pre-soaking the pellets helps prevent this, but as I use an auto feeder, I can't really do this. The only problem with pre-soaking pellets and flakes is that you can lose quite a lot of the nutritional composition within the feeds. The only problem I find with prepared foods is that they can lose a little bit of their nutritional value with age. So let's get onto the nutritional basics of goldfish. Goldfish use the foods they eat for growth, repair and energy. Proteins, fats and carbohydrates can all be used for energy. Goldfish require protein for growth and repair, so let's look at the different requirements that the goldfish need at different stages of their life cycle. So a general observation is smaller goldfish need 60 to 80% of protein within their diet. This is for small fish like fry and fish that are under 1 inch long. 40 to 60% is really good for growing on smaller fish, say 2 inches, and also for helping females to produce eggs and get into condition for the spawning season. And then also it's good to have about a 30 to 40% range for your mature adult fish. This is just more of a maintenance diet, and we see this quite often in most commercial foods. Note that this is on a dried basis, for instance. So if you're looking at using spinach within your diet, this has a nutritional protein level of 25%, whereas dried spirulina algae has up to 60%. So it's not too hard to find that balance if you're making homemade foods. Most foods that we find out on the internet or within shops have a moisture content of about 10 to 15%, and this would mean if you were making your food at home, it would likely have 10 to 15% more protein if you're using dried ingredients. Well, you ask, what happens if the protein range is outside of these desired levels? Well, lower protein can lead to stunted growth or much slower growth than we desire for our fancy goldfish. On the other hand, long stringy feces has also been cited with having too much protein within the diet. However, you could also include a bit more roughage in the diet, maybe some more carbohydrates from like vegetable origin to help pass the protein better in your goldfish. Beyond the different levels of protein within the diet, we also need to look at the quality of protein, as when you look at the back of the packet that your commercial diet is from, you'll see that there's different proteins that make up that percentage of protein within the diet. So we also need to consider the different amino acids, because the goldfish need a large range of amino acids for this growth structure within their bodies. Some homemade foods include supplementing amino acids, because goldfish have quite small dietary tracts and they're quite poor at removing these amino acids from the food. So if you're making homemade foods, you can add amino acids directly to your food in slightly higher concentration so that your goldfish can get the optimum amount of growth and the optimum amount of usage out of the food. So let's move on to carbohydrates. As we know, carbohydrates are used to store fat mostly over the autumn period for winter, so the goldfish have energy whilst they're not feeding as much during the colder spells. Also, it's noted that goldfish can develop nice, deeper, rounder bodies if they're having good levels of carbohydrates within their diets. So it's clear that we need to add carbohydrates to the diet. You can use products such as frozen or fresh peas. These have significant amounts of simple and complex carbohydrates within these. The fish also seem to digest peas much more better than other carbohydrates like rice or potatoes. So now we've covered proteins and carbohydrates, let's move on to fats and lipids. As we know, goldfish require fat in their diet as it's a critical building block to create the large round shapes that we see. It was found that goldfish had an optimum growth when linoleic and oleic fatty acids were included in the diet at around 1% each. These can be introduced in the diet through different proteins and high omega-3 fatty acids. You can find these in proteins such as mackerel or smelt, and these will also be included in the commercially available diets. Also, you can even find the fatty acids in different oils like rapeseed. The only problem, there is a caveat to using fresh oils and different fish oils within your homemade foods, as they can go rancid. Although you can freeze these foods and it will slow down the process, the oxidization process will still occur, and this can impact the feed and the quality of the nutrition. So when you get commercially available foods, these foods have normally been cooked and baked, which helps lock in these nutrients, but obviously they aren't quite as fresh and aren't quite as useful to the goldfish than we would like from a homemade food. Right, now let's move on to fibre. There's not too much to say generally about fibre, but it is key from our findings that goldfish do need a bit of fibre in the diet, and this can be found in different foods like different vegetables that can be included in a homemade diet. It's possible that goldfish can get quite good usage out of complex fibres. However, it's not too essential, and the fibre is only really used to help the goldfish digest the diets properly. You can supplement the goldfish's diet with aquatic plants or leafy greens, which will help add that bit of fibre to their diet. Now let's move on to vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals can be added to diets that are homemade, but they also come in your commercial diet. However, if you're pre-soaking your diets, like your flake foods or your pellet foods, then this often leads to leaching of those vitamins and minerals back out of the pellets. So alternatively, you can buy small bottles of vitamins and minerals that are good for fish. These also have sometimes fatty acids in them, and when you're soaking your diets, it helps keep those minerals and vitamins locked in, and also add some to support that for your goldfish. So sorry that video was quite complex and a bit scientific. I'm hoping next week we can look at a few different ingredients lists and compare them on different diets available, maybe the Saki Akari diets or New Life Spectrum, and also some other non-major branded foods, and we can see what to look for in a diet to help you when you're choosing what to feed your fish. As always, I recommend feeding heavy protein foods like bloodworm. You can feed brine shrimp, but these don't have such a good quality of protein within them. And then a homemade food like a mix of different vegetables that have been boiled or cooked in the microwave and then frozen into a block. And then you can also supplement the diet of your goldfish with a small pellet. Feeding smaller portions and more often is the best way to go, as goldfish have, as I previously mentioned, quite a small dietary tract, and they can't extract huge amounts of nutritional value from the food. So it's best to feed in small portions throughout the day if you can, for optimal growth. So I hope this video was really informational and really educational, and if you liked what you saw, please hit the like button and also share it to your other goldfish friends. Once again, thank you all for watching. I hope you'll join us next week in the part 2 of this series. Also, the weather is really warming up now, so either next week or probably the week after, we're going to be doing a video on renovating the outdoor pond, and then we're going to get the fish out there and separate them, and hopefully we can start to get some spawnings going on. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. Also, lockdown restrictions are finally easing, which is really good. So hopefully we're going to do a few different tours of some private hobbyists, and then also maybe a few shop tours. So there's quite a lot to come. Thank you for joining the Facebook group, to everyone who's joined, and thanks for all the good quality content you guys provide. The group is growing really well and is a really nice place to be. If you haven't checked it out, the link's in the description. So once again, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your Sunday and happy fish keeping.